Well, hello everybody and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G, John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on Top Shelf Oldies. I want to welcome you to the April 7th, 2018 Vinyl Treasure Show. It's the all 1950s and early 60s edition. Had a horrible week. I'm still taking those antibiotics for this condition, and I got 2 more days to go, and hopefully I'll be feeling okay. But they make you feel lousy, I do, but hearing this music makes me feel a lot better. As we opened up tonight's show with the flip side of an instrumental I played a couple of weeks ago by saxophonist Jimmy Tyler, sixth of seven he recorded on Sid Nathan's Federal label. The tune was called Pink Clouds. Now, 2 shows ago I played the flip side of this, his version of Indian Love Call, that one there from July 1956. Jimmy Tyler and his orchestra on Federal, Pink Clouds. Well, enough of my babbling here. Let's open up with the vocal portion. We open up with the only release for this group. They're from Brooklyn, New York, co-written by the lead singer. His name is Willie Kalia. They're called the Chalets. This is their only release from 1957. We go to True Light Records, the Chalets with Fat Mommy-O.
If you got a little mama and you wanna keep on it, you could take her to the liquor shop and she'll be finished because she's a well, I got a little mama, she's mine, all mine. She can drink a quarter cheaper than be feeling fine. Can't believe I love her so, guess she's my little mom. Doo-doo-doo. She's my bad mommy, oh, I can't let her go. She's fine, 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 but I love the child so. She eats like a pig and looks like a horse. She's fat, go back, she's fat, go back. She's a fat, 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 fat mama, know that. I love little mama, she's mine, all mine. She can drink a quarter cheaper than be feeling fine. Can't believe I love her so, I guess she's my little mom. Doo-doo-doo. She's my bad mommy, oh, I can't let her go. She's fine, 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 but I love her child so. She eats like a pig, looks like a horse. She's fat, go back, she's fat, go back. She's a fat, 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 fat mama, I don't little mama, she's mine, all mine. She can drink a quarter cheaper than be feeling fine. Can't believe I love her so, yes, she's my little mom.
The sounds of 1957 open up the vocal portion of the Vinyl Treasure Show. They're called the Chalets. Chalets on the True Light label. That's the original label. Fat Fat Mommy-O is the name of the tune. Now, be careful, you collectors out there. The second presses of that have True Light 101 etched in the dead wax, so check your copies. And I forget what it's supposed to have, like 101A or something. Whatever this one is, I know it's original. But it was also came out on the Dart and the Music Note labels. Those are reissues, and actually on those releases they altered. It was altered by an addition of a saxophone that censors out when they mention liquor shop. Believe that? They didn't like it when they mentioned liquor shop in the song. But anyway, boy, how tame that is compared to what's happening today. But Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. It's all 1950s and early 60s. Here's a Harlem, New York group mainly known for their ballads, although I think a few of their early jump sides were really pretty cool, and this is one of them. It's on Monty Bruce's Bruce label. It's their 6th of 8 they recorded on Bruce. It's with Herman Bradley and the orchestra with the great Winnie Winfield on lead. We go to November 1954. You guessed it, these are the Harp Tones on Bruce with their tune called Oobity Oobity Ooh.
Oobity oobity oo, I fell in love today. Oobity oobity oo, you stole my heart away. Now I know that you're the one for me. Oobity oobity oo, because you thrill me so. Oobity oobity oo, I'll never let you go. That's how much I love you. Can't you see? When you're out with me, you make me feel so proud. When you're holding me, baby, I'm up in a cloud. Oobity oobity oo, your kiss is such a treat. Oobity oobity oo, you make my life complete. Now I know that you're the one for me. This is such a treat. Oobity oobity oo, you make my life complete. Now I know that you're the one for me. Oobity 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 doo, you're the one for me.
That's the 6th of 8 for the Harp Tones on Monty Bruce's Bruce record label. The Harp Tones November 1954 release their tune called Oobity Oobity Ooh, actually the official title for you collectors out there, Oobity Oobity Ooh, parentheses, you're the one for me. And that's a cool tune. Found my copy in Elmsford, New York at a garage sale. I was sometime in the early 80s. You can't go wrong for 5 cents for a 45 like that. All original 45s on a Saturday evening right here on Top Shelf Oldies. Let's continue. We count down the music chronologically on the 50s and early 60s edition. And in the last few weeks on the 50s edition, I featured both sides of this group out of Baltimore, Maryland's their first release on Morty and Bob Shad's Jax label, Jax label. It was called Why Oh Why, back with I Love You Baby. But here's their follow-up. It's their second release on Jax, co-written by the lead singer. His name is Bobby Hall. We go to September 1953 for the Kings, featuring Bobby Hall on lead. This is on red vinyl. I posted it up on my Facebook wall. You can check it out. The tune is called You Made Me Cry.
You made me cry. How dirty, tell me of day without her I do. Was still my heart away. You made me cry. I'll hope you cry so too. There you know just what I've been through. You gave me something to live for. That you made me cry, that you made me cry.
Well, they don't make records like that anymore, that is for sure. But those are the Kings, Bobby Hall and the Kings. That's their second release on the Jax label. A maroon color label, red vinyl. Looks pretty cool. The Jax, September 1953. You Made Me Cry. That is the B-side of the 45. Of course, you know, next week we'll play the A-side of that great blues ballad there. John G here for a Saturday evening as we continue. Here we move into 1954. Now, before Thurston Harris's solo career and his big 1957 hit you all know, Little Bitty Pretty One, he was a member of a group called the Lamplighters. They recorded 13 on Sid Nathan's Federal label. Here is their sixth for Federal. And Thurston Harris wrote the tune. He's doing lead. This one from May of 1954. They're called the Lamplighters. The tune is called Ride, Jockey, Ride.
Ride, 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 a little jockey. 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 Ride, ride, ride. Wanna tell you the ladies what a good doing jockey can do. Come on, jockey, jockey, ride on. Wanna tell you the ladies what a good doing jockey can do. Come on, jockey, jockey, ride on. He can thrill your very soul through and through. Jockey, jockey, ride on. Well, I'm a good riding jockey, and that's about all I'm worth. Come on, jockey, jockey. Hey, hey, I'm a good riding jockey, and that's about all I'm worth. Come on, jockey, jockey, ride on. Gonna lay it to the one, the best riding jockey on earth. Jockey, jockey, ride, 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 oh, 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 blow, blow, little jockey, blow, 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 little jockey, blow, blow, oh, jockey, blow, blow, oh, jockey, blow. My loving free. Hey, hey, got a good loving baby. She gives me my loving free. It's an awful shame when she puts that thing on me. Oh,
Yeah, that's a cool tune to feature when you are playing records when the Kentucky Derbies. I think the last time that the show was on a Saturday that there was the Kentucky Derby, I played that record, so go back to see the last time I played that 45. But that one there from May 1954, those are the Lamplighters on Sid Nathan's Federal label, Silver Top Federal for that one. Ride, Jockey Ride is the name of the tune. That's Thurston Harris on lead. He also wrote the tune. John G continuing here. We are in 1954. I think this next record was inspired by one of the first R&B hits to cross over to the pop charts, and there were actually two records that did that back in 1954. I'm sure you know what the two are. It was by the Penguins. That was one, Earth Angel by the Penguins. The other was G by the Crows, and this Los Angeles group thought they may be able to duplicate that same success, but out on the West Coast, and unfortunately didn't happen for them, but it still is a cool tune. It really does sound like a reworking of the Crows' G release, but this was the debut single for a group called the Meadowlarks. It features Ron Barrett on lead. We go to January 1954. The Meadowlarks on RPM with their tune called Love Only You.
I want you by my side. Hold me, baby, squeeze me for the rest of my life. I love only you. Please be true. I love only you. Only you. I want you by my side. I won't stop loving you, baby. I'll love you till I die. I love only you. Please be true. I love only you.
Sounds like G by the Crows. Definitely does, but that's a debut single for the Meadowlarks. Don Julian not on lead. Ron Barrett, he's on lead. January 1954, the Meadowlarks on RPM with their tune called Love Only You. You know Johnny loves Only You on Saturday evenings from 10 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies. Let's continue. We move into 1955. This is an ultra rare 45. I was lucky to win this on eBay back in when I first started, 1999, either 1999 or 2000 is when I started on eBay, and I paid $260 for this 45 on Old Town Records. Now, it is probably the rarest 45 to find on High Weiss's Old Town record label. The group is known as the Cleftones with two F's. Not the same Cleftones that recorded on the G label. This is a different group, spelled with 2 F's. I played the B-side a number of weeks ago, maybe longer than that. The B-side was called My Dearest Darling. That featured Kaz Bridges on lead. We're going to give a listen to the intended A-side. It features Robert Adams on lead with Kaz doing the bridge. Now, this one's from March of 1955. We go to Old Town Records, that old style Old Town label. These are the Cleftones with I'm Afraid the Masquerade is Over.
Your eyes don't shine like they used to shine, and the thrill is gone when your lips meet mine. I'm afraid the masquerade is over, and so is love, and so is love. Your kiss just don't bliss like they used to bliss, and the thrill is gone when your lips meet mine. I'm afraid the masquerade is over, and so is love, and so is love. Now I guess I have to play pagliacci and get myself a clown's a weird disguise and learn to laugh like pagliacci with tears in my eyes. Your kiss just don't bliss like they used to bliss, and the thrill is gone when your lips meet mine. I'm afraid the masquerade is over, and so is love, and so is love.
Yeah, that's a rare 45. I was so lucky to get that record. I was, because it is not a cheapie, that is for sure. Those are the Cleftones there. March 1955, their rendition of the tune I'm Afraid the Masquerade is Over. High Weiss's Old Town record label. It's got to be the rarest record, I think, on Old Town. I don't know, maybe that 5 Crowns too, but I've seen a couple of the 5 Crowns on 45. I know there's that 78 that only comes out on Old Town, but I've really never seen another copy of that 45, at least clean like that. Anyway, John G babbling on for a Saturday evening. Let's go to another red wax vinyl. I didn't scan this one because I think I did it a number of years ago. I posted this scan up on my Facebook wall. All the pictures are there. You can check out all the rare records on my Facebook wall, but you all know this versatile group out of Gary, Indiana. They signed to Vivian Carter's VJ record label had 20 releases on VJ between 1953 and 1960. Here's the A-side to their fifth. They recorded this one on February 19th, 1955. 1955, but it took them over was it 55 or 54? No, 55. That's correct. But it took them over a year to release this record as we move into 1956. This one, no. What happened here? I messed that one up. I got to double check on that. Check my notes on that. Anyway, whatever you say about this record, it's a great record. You know I'm talking about the Spaniels. This one from March 1955, the Spaniels on VJ, and Pookie Hudson on lead. Their tune called "Don't You Go."
Don't go, don't go.
I'm gonna lay right down and cry.
Don't go, don't go, don't go,
don't tease me, please, squeeze me,
tease me.
It would please me to know him if every now and then you would tell me you love me again. I remember the night when first we met. Our love was young and gay. We strolled through the park and kissed in the dark. And I can hear you say, oh,
baby,
don't go.
No, don't you go. No,
Don't you know?
don't.
If you ever say goodbye, I'm gonna break right down and cry. Don't go, don't go, don't go.
March 1955 for the Spaniels. Like that tune there by the Spaniels, Pookie Hudson on lead. Don't You Go is the name of the tune. Vivian Carter's VJ Records out of Chicago, Illinois. I know why I with the mix up, because originally I was not going to play that side. I was going to play the flip side called Dua that they recorded, I think, in 1953, and they put it in the back of that 1955 release, or 54. I don't know. Johnny G messing up here. It's the drugs, folks. It's the antibiotics that is messing my mind up. Yes, it is. So I got to listen to these cool records to get me back on track. As we go back to High Weiss's Old Town record label for a female lead with male backing as we move into the year 1956. They recorded two for Old Town Records. This is their debut single, and a side that Alan Freed would play on his radio program back in 1956. Maybe you remember, but it features Gwen Edwards on lead. We go back to July 1956. Gwen Edwards and the Co-Eds on Old Town, and their tune called Love You Baby All the Time.
Oh, wop wop shooby dooby dooby doo. Wop wop shooby dooby doo.
I love you, baby. Want you by my side. I need you, baby. Be my loving God. Well, come on, baby. Love me all the time. I love you, baby. Have you by my side. I need you, baby. Be my loving God. Come on, baby. Love me all the time. Well, love me till the end of time. Kiss me, pretty baby, with those lips like wine. Oh, my pretty baby, and squeeze me tight. Now we'll rock and roll till broad daylight. I love you, baby. Want you by my side. Well, I need you, baby. Be my loving girl. Come on, baby. Love me all the Love me till the end of time. Kiss me, pretty baby, with those lips like wine. Oh, my pretty baby, and squeeze me tight. Now we'll rock and roll till broad daylight. I love you, baby. Want you by my side. Oh, I need you, baby. Be my loving girl. Come on, baby. Love me all the time.
That's the debut single for the Co-Eds, featuring Gwen Edwards on lead, July 1956, the first of two. High Weiss's Old Town record label. Love You Baby All the Time is the name of the tune. All four sides that they recorded for Old Town are great tunes. We're going to hear them in future Vinyl Treasure shows as we continue here in 1956 for this next group. This next group actually related to the four fellows that recorded for the Triborough label back in 1953. Earlier we heard from the Cleftones on Old Town, which actually included Kaz Bridges, who was a member of this Triborough group, along with another singer by the name of Bobby Tompkins, who is the lead of this group. They're called the Victorians. They have one release on Saxony from early 56, and then this side that I'm playing on Morty Craft's Selma label. Let's send this one out to listener George Tompkins. We go back to October 1956 for the Victorians. Victorians on the Selma label, Bobby Tompkins on lead, and their tune called Wedding Bells.
Wedding bells in the chapel, all the wonders that they bring. How my heart is filled with music every time that they ring. There's two hearts in the chapel with a dream that's been fulfilled. And a lifetime together. Is there so long to build? Bells day in the chapel, they'll be ringing for me. Oh, 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 those bells, they'll be ringing for me. Ringing for me.
Yeah, that's a great tune there. Send it out to George Tompkins. Those are the Victorians, October 1956 release. Morty Kraft's Selma record label there. The tune is called Wedding Bells. Bought that from, I think, a record collector in, was a while back, Pennsylvania. I think his name is Ted Artkowski. And I don't know what's going on with Ted, but we'll say hello to Ted. You know, record collectors and dealers, some of them are really strange for some reason. I don't know. You got to go to a record show and check it out. I wanted to go to the Allentown, PA show. I saw pictures. Val Shively posted some pictures. A couple of guys posted pictures. I haven't seen some of those guys in a long time. I don't recognize them for reasons of, as we just age not so well. At least it seems like record collectors don't age that well. Anyway, but we'll say hello to all those dealers. I'm gonna go to the next one, so I'm not gonna probably do my show that Saturday. I would like to get to that Allentown show, and I don't know how much record looking I'll get to. I know I'll be bombarded by a lot of those dealers and collectors, but anyway, it's a lot of fun. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, this is a classic New York City sound. Both sides of this record are excellent in my opinion, and I know my aunt loves both sides of this 45 on Bobby Robinson's Whirling Disc record label. Out of this group, though, is out of Brooklyn, New York. They put out 2 on Whirling Disc Records. Let's give a listen to the jump side of their first release. Both sides are great, though, but it features Herman Montgomery on lead, and you know next week I'll be playing the cool flip side, but their second one's a killer too. But anyway, let's give a listen to the Continentals. We go to November of 1956, the Continentals on Whirling Disc for this classic New York City sound. It's called Fine, Fine Frame.
I can't get over the things I used to do. With a 4-leaf clover, I made my wish for you.
You are my fine, fine frame. I feel far burning once again. My one desire tells me like a friend. You are my fine, fine frame. Oh, you are my fine, fine frame. Don't you realize you came and made a change? When you walked in, you set my soul aflame. You are my fine, fine friend. Oh, the world knows I love you. I'm always thinking of you. Every minute, every hour, every day. I can't forget about you. Can't live without you.
Please don't go away.
Oh, 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 you are my fine, fine friend. I wish that I could make you feel the same. I can't deny I'm happy once again with my fine, fine friend.
Please don't go away.
Oh, 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 you are my fine, fine friend. I wish that I could make you feel the same. I can't deny I'm happy once again with my fine, fine friend. Oh, 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 oh.
November 1956. They're the Continentals. Hermit Montgomery on lead. Bobby Robinson's Whirling Disc Records for that one. Fine, Fine Frame is the name of the tune. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool 45s. All 45s all the time here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Let's go back to the West Coast. This time to Isaac Neal Jr.'s Irma label. Irma Records out of California, and the band leader gets the top billing on the label. His name is Al Smith, along with his orchestra, but in real fine print over to the right, you see the name of the group. They're called the Angels, and this is a girl group sound. This one from October 1956, the Angels on Irma. Give a listen to their tune. It's called Leaving You Baby. Bluesy girl group sounds here for a Saturday evening. Those are the Angels. October 1956 release, Leaving You Baby, came out on the Irma record label out of California. Really, though, the Al Smith and his band, they get top billing on that 45. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes. We do it every Saturday from 10 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies, and I played a 45 by the Sunbeams on Herald a couple of weeks ago. You might remember the tune up-tempo called Come Back Baby from 1955. A member of that Long Island group was Bobby Lee Hollis, but when he departed the Sunbeams, they replaced him with someone by the name of Henry Williamson, and Henry Williamson did lead on the Sunbeams Acme release, their great record from October 1957 called Please Say You'll Be Mine. But before he recorded on the Acme label, he was a member of a group called the Colonnaires, and they have this lone release on Al Silver's Ember label, and he's doing lead on this. Give a listen to the Colonnaires from April of 57 on the Ember label. The tune is called Sandy.
I love her so, I love her so, I love her so. I wanna know where to go.
Oh, Sandy is a girl met in Pretty Park one day. Sandy is a girl fell in love with when she came my way. Ooh wee, baby. Oh, Sandy is a girl gonna marry. If she says yes with Sandy, I'll be happy because my life she would bless. Ooh wee, baby. I met Sandy and I fell in love with Sandy, and I'm gonna marry Sandy. That's because I'm in love with Sandy. Oh, my dear sweet Sandy. Oh,
I love her so, I love her so, I love her so. I wanna know where to go.
We'll send that one out to all the Sandys tuned into the Vinyl Treasure Show out there. Colinaires. Colinaires, the name of the group, April 1957 on Al Silver's Ember record label. Sandy is the name of the tune, featuring Henry Williamson on lead. John G here for a Saturday evening. We continue 1957 here. Rare girl group sound, and it's on an Al Brown related 45. I think he was either part owner of this label, Apache Records. I posted this one up on my Facebook wall. You can check it out. It's with his orchestra, the Al Brown Orchestra, and he co-wrote the song. Really don't have any info on this. I have another record on this label by the Concepts. I think it's called Whisper, I think is the one. But anyway, this is a rare one from December of 57. They're called the Sweet Marquise. It's on Apache, and the name of the tune is called You Lied. sounds here for a Saturday evening. That one there from December 1957. They're called the Sweet Marquise. It's on the Apache record label there out of Brooklyn. I think it's out of Brooklyn, New York. The name of the tune is called You Lie. Johnny G not lying. I play only original vinyl. You don't believe me? Check out the webcam, Warren. You can tell him I'm playing all original vinyl. You can see the 45s like this one. And I know the next group is out of Brooklyn, New York. And before they became famous as Little Anthony and the Imperials, they were known as the DuPonts. And their debut single came out on Paul Winley's Winley label, but this was their second. It was on Alan Freed's, I think this guy might have been Alan Freed's lawyer, if I'm not mistaken. His name was Jack Hook. Jack Hook, and he owned Royal Roost Records, and this is a young Little Anthony Gordine, young Little Anthony Gordine on lead here. We go to February 1957. Give a listen to the DuPonts on Royal Roost and their tune called Prove It Tonight.
Something tells me you love me, am I right? If you love me, really love me, prove it tonight. For a long time I waited for this night. Don't keep me waiting, stop hesitating, prove it tonight. You never know how much you've done to change my life complete. Why did you wait so doggone long to say that you love me so? You love me, really love me, I was right. Oh baby, come on baby, prove it tonight. Something tells me you love me, am I right? If you love me, really love me, prove it tonight. You never know how much you've done to change my life complete. Why did you wait so doggone long to say that you love me so? You love me, really love me, I was right. Oh baby, come on baby, prove it tonight. Tonight.
That is, they call the DuPonts. The DuPonts, Little Anthony's group there, the DuPonts on the Royal Roost record labels. John G goes crazy. February 1957 released the DuPonts with Prove It Tonight. As we continue here, and here's the flip of a 45 I played a few weeks ago on an earlier 50s edition. It's on George Goldner's Mark X label. Features I featured Ruby Whittaker and the Pyramids. The side I played was called I Get the Feeling. So let's flip that 45 over. And it is a cover song on the flip side. First recorded in 1940 by Myra Taylor. And then also the Ink Spots recorded it in 1941. Plus other groups have recorded this through the years. As we go to October of 1957 for Ruby Whittaker and the Pyramids on Mark X and their rendition of the tune I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire.
She don't want to set the world on fire.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame.
One thing I noticed with these George Golner recorded 45s, some of the areas get really loud. You can hear it in a lot of the Frankie Lyman records and a couple of the other records on G and Gone. Like there was one part of that where it went really loud. So I don't know if what they're doing in the recording studio, but it seems to only happen on George Golner labels like on G and on Gone and on End. Some of the earlier sides, they just go louder for some reason. It did it there on that 45 too. But that's Ruby Whittaker and the Pyramids. That's the B-side of their release on the Mark X label, October 1957. Their rendition of the tune, I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire. Of course, they had earlier releases on Joe Davis's Davis record label, and also the Standard label with her group known as the Chestnuts. John G here for a Saturday evening as we continue, and we move into 1958 for this group from Toledo, Ohio. They recorded 2 on Porter Roberts' New Song label, and this is their first. It features Frank Williams on lead. This one from January 1958, New Song Records. The group is called the Highlighters, Highlighters, and their tune is called Flang Dang Do.
Oh, flang dang do, means I want you, I want you. Oh, flang dang do, say you want me to, Oh, flang dang do, means I'll be true, Oh, flang dang do, though my love is new, give no penny for my thoughts, or have a dip to be my palms. My heart tells me by you I'm caught, so baby cuddle in my arms. Oh, flang dang do, my whole life through. Oh, flang dang do, making love to you.
That group out of Toledo, Ohio, they're called the Highlighters. That's their first release from January 1958. The Highlighters on new song Flang Dang Do is the name of the tune. In 1961, they would change their name to the Toledos. They have a release, first came out on the Down label, also picked up by George Golner's End record label. I don't know if I featured that here. I think I have. I may have. The Down label I did. I don't know about my End copy. Anyway, John G babbling on here. Hope you're digging on the tunes. We are in 1958. We stay in the same month, January 1959, for this next 45. As it was released on 2 labels at the same time. Initially, Jake Porter's Combo label, probably on the West Coast, and although the other label, Dot Records, that was more of a national label, and those people on the East Coast, if they own this record, would have it on the Dot label. But I'm featuring its first press on Combo. Features Carl White on lead. And the group is called The Sharps. We go back to January of 58 for The Sharps on Combo with their tune called All My Love.
Yes, you're gone, and I was wrong to tell you that I didn't love you so. Didn't mean a word life is filled with misery. Oh, baby, can't you see that all my love is just for you? You see, my dear, you ought to know that long last love never dies. So think, my dear, please change your mind. Don't leave me here to cry. I'm alone. Love is gone. Life don't mean a thing to me. Oh, baby, can't you see that all my love is just for you? It seems, my dear, you ought to know that a long last love never dies. So think, my dear, please change your mind. Don't leave me here to cry. I'm alone. Love is gone. Life don't mean a thing to me. Oh baby, can't you see that all my love is just for you? That all my love is just for you. All my love is just for you.
I really like that sound there by the Sharps. Carl White on lead. January 1958 release, Jake Porter's Combo label. You can also get it on the Dot label, but the full title of the song, it's called All My Love, the parentheses, is just for you. Now, they would have another 45 that came out on two different labels. The one that came out originally on the Tag label, and then it was also re-released on the Chess label. They shortened it because the tune 6 months, 3 weeks, 2 days, and an hour, they felt that Carl White messed up at the beginning. It was some kind of weird thing, and they cut that piece off on the Chess 45. So the Tag record is actually pretty rare if you have that Tag 45. But anyway, that's a cool tune on Combo. Remember buying that one from Ken Thompson many, many years ago. It was something like $7 or $8 for that 45 before discount at the Montvale, New Jersey record show. Was at the Holiday Inn or one of those hotels that used to have it. Used to be a lot of fun back in the day looking at records. They were a lot cheaper then, probably a little bit more expensive now. John G. babbling on here. Let's continue. More 45s out of 1958. Here's another group, though, out of Brooklyn, New York. They have two releases on Thomas Robinson's various labels, of course, mainly two, I think. Their second one came out on the Atlas label, but this is their first on the sister label Angletone. Really can't tell you much about the group, but both sides are written by someone by the name of R. Graham, and this is the first release. They were known as the Lincoln's Quintet. We go to February 1958 on Angletone for the Lincoln's Quintet. The song is called Tell Me What Is Wrong.
Now tell me what is wrong with you, dear? It's the love that you feel. Now listen to me, baby, and hear your daddy's plea. Now listen to me, baby. Tell me what is wrong with you. Well, you say that you want to, say that you will, but look, you honey, let's get straight. Tell me, baby. Tell me what is wrong with you.
You used to call me Fatty. The name to you nice daddy. My heart is aching. Ooh, I believe it's breaking. It's never late to start breaking. Tell me what is wrong with you, oh baby. Tell me what's wrong with you.
February 1958 there for the Lincoln's Quintet. Lincoln's Quintet on Angletone Records, a song entitled Tell Me What Is Wrong. Now, with their second release on Atlas, they dropped the quintet. They were just known as the Lincolns. And they also have releases on the Al John record label. John G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here. I'm trying to hold back a cough. So, excuse me. So if you hear me where I'm just about to, I'm trying to hold it back. I'm really in bad shape this week. I have been. And hopefully next week I will be better. So not my A game tonight. I apologize for that. Hopefully the records are sounding good, though. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we move into 1959 with this group from Petersburg, Virginia. They recorded two on Benjamin Allen's New Cat label, NU-KAT. Who, by the way, also gets writer credit on this 45 under an odd alias name. He uses a female name, Janie John. I don't know why he would do that, but anyway, these label owners, they know all the tricks. But it's the first of two for this group known as the Continental Five. It features Clyde Robertson on lead. We go to February 1959, the Continental Five on New Cat, and their tune called Perdelia. February 1959 release there. They're called the Continental Five. Continental Five on the New Cat record label. They're out of Petersburg, Virginia. Perdelia is the name of that tune. I think I heard that on the Time Capsule show the first time, or one of those collector shows. And I was looking for the 45. I was getting Gold. Was it Gold Mine magazine before Discoveries? Yeah, and I think it was John Tefteller was had these full page auctions. He does some cool ones now. He sends out this really big pamphlet of all these nice color photos, and he features. I mean, that really it's like a marquee thing for Mr. Tefteller. But anyway, he had, I think, a small quantity on that record, and I didn't pay a lot of money for it at the time, but that's their easier one to find. Their other record, My Lonely Friend, or My Lonely Friend is it? That's a much harder record to find. That is for sure. John G here for a Saturday evening as we continue. We are in the year 1959. Let's go to Connecticut, New Britain, Connecticut. For this group, it's on the MZ label out of Middletown, Connecticut. Got to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Al Bernard. Haven't heard from Al in a while. I should give him a call. Hope you're doing and feeling well, Al. We're going to send this one out to you. It's on the MZ label. MZ stands for Mickey Marconi and Frank Zenobi. They were the label owners. Now, Mickey is really playing a cool guitar on this session. You'll hear it in the record, and it features Rich Crisatello on lead. This one, late 1959. Give a listen to the Crystal Tones. We'll send this one out to Chrissy Macios, too, because he says he discovered something about this record. But anyway, the Crystal Tones here on MZ, and their tune called Deborah Lee. That's a nice cha-cha sound there by the Crystal Tones. Crystal Tones from late 1959. MZ Records, the group out of New Britain, Connecticut, the Crystal Tones with Deborah Lee. As we move on here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, if you ever get a chance to see this Alan Freed movie, maybe you've seen it before. It's called Go Johnny Go. Some cool performances in that. Acts lip syncing to their songs. Chuck Berry, Sandy Stewart, Eddie Cochran, Richie Valens, the Flamingos, the Cadillacs, Jackie Wilson, Jimmy Clanton's in that movie. I think he's actually the main character in the movie. And this gal from Jacksonville, Florida, posted this one up on my Facebook wall. It's her 6th of 7 on George Golner's Gone record label. She was known as the blonde bombshell, as Johnny G babbles on here, at all the Alan Freed rock and roll concerts. She has some pretty cool rocker tunes, sure she does. But this is a cool one from February 1959. It was written by Bo Diddley. Wrote this song for Miss Joanne Campbell, February 59. Joanne Campbell on Gone with her tune. It's called Mama, Can I Go Out Tonight? As Miss Joanne Campbell, the blonde bombshell. That one there, February 1959 on Gone Records. And her tune, Mama, Can I Go Out Tonight? John G here for a Saturday evening. You can go out tonight, but listen to Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show right here on TopShelfOldies.org as we continue. Here's a rare 45 out of Chester, Pennsylvania. Believe it or not, talking about characters of dealers. If any of you out there have ever dealt with Bob Ellis, a.k.a. the Count, he would definitely count as a character, but I like Bob. We talk a lot. I haven't bought a record from him in a number of years, but this one I did get from him, and a reasonable price, but it's got lots of scratches on it, unfortunately. Sometime in the 1980s I purchased it, but not so expensive. I wouldn't mind having a mint one, that's for sure. But the orchestra is called the New Red Tops. It's from 1959. The group is called the Kings 5. It's on the Trophy label. The tune is called I Hear the Rain.
I hear the rain upon my window pane. wondering if you're coming home tonight. I'm sending all my love for you, my dear. So please bring it on to me. I hear the rain upon the window pane. I'm wondering if you're coming home tonight. I'm sending all my love for you, my dear. So please bring it on to me. I hear the rain upon my window pane. I'm wondering if you're coming home to shower all your love. Hear the wind upon the windowside. Wondering if you're coming home tonight. I'm sending my love for you, my dear. So please bring it on to me. So please
Rare 45s here for a Saturday evening. That's a rare one by a group called the Kings 5. They're out of Chester, Pennsylvania. It's on the Trophy label from 1959, the Kings 5, with a tune called I Hear the Rain. We've had plenty of rain. Well, actually, rain, snow, wind, hail. This was a weird week for sure. It definitely was. So hopefully I put the shovel away. We are done with the snow. John G, excuse me. John G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here. And I think, Warren, you requested this next record. I'm pretty sure you did. And I had it on one of my emails, and I finally found the 45. That's because I played the flip, I think, in January. But I think, Warren, you requested this. Let me know in the chat room if that's the case. An early Motown-related item. One of the first records to be published under Berry Gordy Jr.'s Joe Bett publishing company, is written by the artist. His name is Wade Jones. The unmentioned background vocals are by the Rayber Voices. This is the intended A-side. It's on the Rayber label. We'll send it out to Warren. I think he requested this January 59. Mr. Wade Jones on Rayber with his tune called I Can't Concentrate.
I can't concentrate with you on my mind. No, I can't concentrate. Think of you all the time. And I remember when you left, so good was my song. But if you just come back to me,
By request for Bopper Boy Warren, currently in the Top Shelf Holy Chat. I knew you requested that, Warren. Pretty sure. Wade Jones there in the Raber Voices. They don't get mentioned on the label. January 1959. That's the A-side on Raber Records. I Can't Concentrate is the name of the tune. Now, the label name derived from combining the first three letters of Berry Gordy's second wife, Raynoma, and the first three letters of Berry's first name, B-E-R. Hence, Raber Records. And that's the A side of the 45. I really love the flip side. I'm going to play the flip side because I just want to, and it's my show, and I can do what I want. We're going to flip it over. We're going to play the flip side. I think both sides of this record are excellent. And it's unfortunate that a lot of the copies did not get out of the Detroit area. And the ones that you do find, they are trashed. I have one slightly better than this. This is my extra copy of the record because I need to have one to play a lot more than the other one. But anyway, let's give a listen to the B-side of the 45. It's by Wade Jones. It's from January 59. The name of the song is called Insane. B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's Wade Jones, January 1959, Raber Records. The name of the tune is called Insane. Believe it or not, Bob Briskin, girl group collector, he was a girl group collector, he turned me on to that record, is what it is, and that's a great tune. John G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on all the cool 45s out of my record collection. Hope they're not driving you insane. Crazy Eddie said that, I think, didn't he? Anyway, let's continue here. Played a request for George Tompkins a couple of weeks ago. He wanted to hear The Tangents out of Los Angeles, California. Great tune entitled I Can't Live Alone. That was side 2 of the record, but let's give a listen to side 1, co-written by the lead singer. His name is Billy Thedford. And this is with Renee Hall and his orchestra. Let's move into 1960 now for the Tangents on Fresh and their tune called Send Me Something.
Send me some kiss.
April 1960 release there for a group called The Tangents. The Tangents on the Fresh label. Send Me Something is the name of the tune. Billy Thedford, he co-wrote the tune. He also is the lead singer. As we continue, here we are in the early 1960s, and on the last 50s, early 60s show, I gave you advance notice that I was going to play the B-side of that 45 a couple of weeks ago that I featured on Ray Peterson's Dunes label, as both sides are great in my opinion. And we heard the hit side a couple of weeks ago. You know the tune. It's called Pretty Little Angel Eyes by Curtis Lee. Curtis Lee, he was from Yuma, Arizona. And I say the flip side is equally as good. Written by Tommy Boyce, produced by Phil Spector, and the backup group, they were called the Halos, and which often included Carl Spencer, Bobby Spencer, J.R. Bailey, and Gary Morrison. So let's flip over that 45 on Dunes by Curtis Lee. Give a listen to the B-side. We go to June of 1961 for Curtis Lee and the Halos. It's on the Dunes label. The name of the tune is called Gee, How I Wish You Were Here.
How I wish you were here tonight to love me and how I miss you tonight. I need you here beside me to hold me and love me. Oh, gee, how I wish you were here. And oh, I'm so lonesome tonight. I can't stop thinking of you. You're my every dream come true. What would I do without you to hold me and love me? Oh, gee, how I wish you were here. If you would only call just to say hello, how happy I would be. Just to hear your voice saying I love you would mean so much to me. How I wish you were here tonight to love me and how I miss you tonight. I need you here beside me to hold me and love me. Oh, gee, how I wish you were here. Oh, wish you were.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That is a killer tune, a killer ballad for sure. Great group harmony sounds in the background there. Curtis Lee and the Halos, they do not get mentioned on the label. June 1961, Gee, How I Wish You Were Here. Great tune written by Tommy Boyce, produced by Phil Spector, and of course the Halos backing Curtis Lee up. And besides their own material, the Halos provided backup vocals to the likes of Barry Mann, Benny King, Connie Francis, Tommy Hunt, Bobby Vinton, the Coasters, Brian Hyland, Johnny Nash, Dion, Little Eva, Gene Pitney on Every Breath I Take. That's another great record. And Shirley and Lee, Johnny Mathis, believe it or not, and many others. So those are the Halos behind Mr. Curtis Lee. John G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes here. We are in the year 1961. Why don't we head to the Bronx, New York, Zell Sanders J&S label for this girl group you all know. If you guessed I'm talking about the Hearts, you are correct. This is one from the early 1960s, 1961. It features wait, did I say that? Is it Leslie Valentine? Is that her name? Because I got a friend called Leslie Valentine. It features Leslie Valentine on lead. I got to double check. But I know her first name is Leslie. I might have been thinking of my old girlfriend. Oh, but anyway, features Leslie Valentine, I think, on lead. This one from 1961. They're called the Hearts on J&S. It's called If I Had Known. Girl group sounds here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Hearts with Leslie Valentine on lead. Just so happens I know a Leslie, spelled different. Her name, this singer, her name is spelled Lezli Valentine. Just so happens I know a Leslie, Leslie, I think, Valentine. Anyway, two different people, but a great tune there. If I Had Known by the Hearts, 1961 on Zell Sanders J&S record label. John G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes. Here we are in the early 60s. We stay in 1961. Rare, California. Posted this one up on my Facebook wall. Was my last post. It's on blue vinyl on the Pamela label out of what is it, Danny? Monrovia, California. Where is Monrovia, California, if anybody knows? I do not. But anyway, it's a cool-looking blue vinyl 45. This group originally recorded as the Glens and included brothers Cleo and Carl White and Renee Beard. They were former members of the Gladiators on Dig Records, and then Billy Mann, also a member of that Glens group. They put out a 45 that came out on the, I think it's called the Latini label. Also came out on the Sudden label in 1960. But Cleo White, he left the group, and Johnny Staton, he became the lead singer. Johnny Staton, of course, sang with the Feathers on Showtime, and he became the lead singer, and they put out this 45 and they changed their name to the Unforgettables. It's a rare 45. They're called the Unforgettables, 1961, Pamela Records. It's called Oh, Wishing Well.
I stand here begging to you, wishing well. Oh, wishing well. I ask you with all my heart. I plead with you. Oh, wishing well. Please make my dreams true. I dreamed a star so bright above shone down on me and brought me love, the kind of love that I've always wanted. I dreamed of love sincere and true, a love of happiness for two, love that would go on forever. Bring me this love, please, oh please. Wishing well. Now can't you see how very much it means to me to find a girl that I could love forever and ever, forever, evermore,
Strategy gets caught here. That's Rare California, Warren, if you like that 45. 1961, The Unforgettables. Johnny Stanton, he's the lead singer. Oh, Wishing Well is the name of the tune. Came out on the Pamela label. Pamela label out of Monrovia, California. John G here for a Saturday evening. A little bit of a California stretch here. As we continue, we stay in California. Some very confusing information on this next record as Charlene is feeding me some information. She was reading my notes on this song, and of course I did a little bit of research myself. I have this book called L.A. R&B Vocal Groups 1945 to 65 as done by Steve Probst and Galen Gart. I have conflicting information in that group to what Ferdy Gonzalez has in the disco file, but I'll read what I do have. As I know this group, according to Galen Gart and Steve Probst, said that this group attended L.A.'s Fremont High School in 1959, and their debut single came out on the Sabrina label, a song called I Don't Know Why, as the Marathons. And I know that record, the Marathons, because I have it, and Alan Freed actually plays it on one of his sound checks. If you check his sound check from KDAY from 1960, he plays that Marathons record along with, I think, Chris Montez's first record on Guaranteed. But anyway, according to the LA Book, it said that the Marathons' second release came out as the Misfits, but I think they really couldn't. They weren't actually sure. Some said, etc., that it was. And they talked about the song that I'm playing called Midnight Star. Then they mentioned that it was covered by the Brentwoods on Doré. But if you check with Ferdy, the Brentwoods on Doré, the writer credit goes to Warren Joyner. I think that's his name. And there is no writer credit on this Misfits record. So if I had to guess who was right, I got to say Ferdy was right, because he had a release date that was prior to this date, which is 1961. So if I haven't confused you, I may have. But anyway, we're just going to listen to the record. It's on the Aries label. It's from 1961. Give a listen to the Misfits and their tune called Midnight Star.
Once upon a dreamy midnight star, I wish that I could be where you are as I gaze at the star in the sky. Star in the sky.
Well, I have to say they do sound like the Marathons on the Sabrina label. So that is for sure, but maybe that's not the original version of the two. Maybe the Brentwoods did do it first. I got to compare my Brentwoods 45. Maybe they're the same group, but I don't know. They do sound like the Marathons, but those were the Misfits, 1961 on the Aries label, their tune called Midnight Star. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening, spinning, original vinyl 45s out of my collection. Let's move into the year 1962. Didn't have time to research this new addition to the Johnny G record collection. I didn't have this 45 on the Amy label. I thought I did have a record by this group. Maybe they have two, I don't know, but they're called the Varios, Varios, and it was an Amy number that I was missing. It came out in October of 62. I guess they're out of New York. It's on Amy Records. Let's just give it a spin. The tune is called Operator, Operator, Operator.
Operator, 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 I wanted to call my love for me. Tears are just to fill my eyes.
Those are the Varios. If anybody's got any information on them, I couldn't find any info on this group. I know Ferdy has it released October 1962. It's on the Amy label. Amy Records. What number is this? Is this a promo or a stock? Let me see. It is a advance copy. Advance copy. Operator. The Varios. October 62, and what else does it have? It's Amy 861 advance copy, written by Ross A. May, and it's a Delphi production. Kevton Music, if anybody knows. Usually sometimes I check the publishing, sometimes I check the writer credit to find some kind of info about the group. But anyway, it's one of those painted on labels, which Johnny G hates. But anyway, let's continue. We are in a Vinyl Treasure Overtime, and on the last 50s, early 60s show, I featured a group called the Incinators, on Ben Smith's Tar X label. I played the B-side of their 45. It was called I Had a Little Too Much, as far as alcohol goes, but it was written by the lead singer Herb Baxter. He also wrote the intended A-side, which is a nice ballad. We go to September of 62 for the Incinators on Tar X. The song is called Just Like Before.
I've known of love before, two lips that I adore. I've known of love before. Oh, our love will live evermore, and my heart bursts like before, just like before. I know my heart is not a plaything, although it is really like a toy. For once it was a young and gay thing, and really not a plaything to be destroyed. I've known of a warm embrace, caress your tender face. I've known of a small desire to start a raging fire, and my heart bursts like before, just like before. Heart bursts like before, just like before. Heart bursts like before, just like before. Heart bursts like before, just like before.
That's a pretty rare 45 on Ben Smith's Tar X record label. The Incinators is the name of the group. September 1962, Just Like Before is the name of the tune. Two more 45s to go before Johnny G closes down here for a Saturday evening. A little bit of history on this next 45 for this group known as Max Starr and the Mellows. Now, Max Starr is really Julius McMichael. Julius McMichael was the lead of the Paragons. I'm sure you know their Paragons and their tune called Florence and Let's Start All Over Again. Those were on the Winley record label. But there's even a Max Starr and the Paragons on Winley that came out. Well, that's really Julius McMichael's, and here he is with a female group backing him up, but he's recording under the name Max Starr, aka Julius McMichael. This is from November 62. It's on Cub Records. The tune is called Oh My Love.
Oh my love, oh my
My love, oh
Sounds of 1962 as we close down the Vinyl Treasure Show. Max Starr, a.k.a. Julius McMichaels there, and the Mellows. November 1962 release. That's on the Cub label, a song entitled Oh My Love. Now, he went out to California in 1965. He joined the Olympics. He stayed with them for 15 years until his untimely death in a motorcycle accident in June of 1981. But that's a cool tune. Well, that's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to original vinyl 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with Johnny G, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com as I'm losing my breath here. And I've been recording this one on the Ustream broadcaster. I'm going to post it up on my YouTube wall. You can also go to Ustream to view it, but they only keep, I think, the last 5 or 6 shows. But I have them, a lot of the shows up on YouTube. Boy, the police of the copyright police have been attacking me. They blocked, but I think it's unfair. They're blocking 2 videos. They blocked 2 videos from last year, totally blocked them worldwide for I don't know what the record was, but I had to remove it. The odd thing was I go through the process of removing the record, but then they let it saves and they let it play. They probably realize and say, wait, we can't do this to him after a year that it's been posted up there. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the problem issues that are going on with YouTube at this point. But anyway, let's hope they don't block this show that I taped tonight. But anyway, that's going to do it for tonight's show. We're going to close the show tonight with a group from the East Harlem section of New York City. They signed with the Aku record label. This was their debut single. Features Joe Cariotti on lead. They would also back up another gal on the Aku label. Her name was Denise Germain. You may know the tune called Teenage Idol. And they would have one more release on the Music Tone label from 64, but this was their debut of 45 from March of 63. They're called the Delmonicos. It's on Aku. The song is called You Can Call. Well, you can call Johnny G any Saturday evening from 10 to midnight. I'll be right here playing my 45s for you, and I'll be back next Saturday from 10 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies. Please tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Raven, his Relics and Rarities show. Dave will be on from 12 to midnight tomorrow evening, and all the shows here on Top Shelf Oldies, all cool shows. All the DJs have their own tastes in music. It's very, very cool and educational place to be when it comes to music. Hopefully you'll learn a lot of stuff from your host, Johnny G. Thank you, Charlene, for that. Want everybody to have a safe and happy week. I'll see you here next Saturday starting at 10 p.m. right here on Top Shelf Oldies. Just want to say, everybody, so long.